Turning back now to our top story in America, former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin found guilty on all charges of the murder of George Floyd. The Floyd family and their attorneys welcomed the news at a press conference after the verdict was announced just after 4 p.m. local time. In addition to murder, Chauvin was also found guilty of manslaughter. Stewart, an attorney for the Floyd family, was at that press conference, and he is here with us this morning from Minneapolis. Thanks for joining us this early in the morning. Chris, you said that now George Floyd's soul can finally rest in peace, that justice has been served. But I think we all know when we're talking about a murder and a life that can never be returned, there's only so much justice the justice system can dole out. What we saw was a measure of accountability yesterday. What is the significance of this verdict?
I mean, it's huge because I've been in that courtroom before and the verdict was the opposite. I was there with the family of Walter Scott when it was a hung jury and we had to get delayed justice, when the federal government had to get involved and charge him with federal crimes. But it was a dose of the reality that we should be living in. It was a reminder that you don't have to be anti-cop to just want justice. Far too often we're separated along lines that people that don't live in our shoes divide us by: black, white, anti-cop, pro-civil rights. You can be both. You can support the good cops out there, and you can be against the bad ones. And that was a reminder yesterday.
I know that you spent a lot of time with George Floyd's family. I think I saw his brother yesterday say at the time, this was a time for celebrating, and I'm paraphrasing, but essentially the work is far from over. And we know that though we saw one former officer on trial, it's also the law enforcement, the policing system that is under the microscope here. And there are elements of that system that are codified in the way it works that make it difficult for police officers to be held accountable for their action. Where does the conversation go now?
Well, it's even beyond difficult. It makes it impossible for accountability because of the way that a lot of these structures are set up is, in some departments, you're pushed to make pullovers. And the easiest people to pull over are African Americans because they are not going to complain for the most part. And it's just an easy target so you can get your numbers up for tickets. It's not something that's talked about a lot, but that's what puts officers in situations where they lead to situations where excessive force is used, or it's a bad officer that knows he can abuse this person. So it has to start with changes at the core, stopping racial profiling, monitoring officers when they go from one department to the next, to the next, to the next. That's a bad dude. That's why the Justice and Policing Act has to be passed. I know it's stuck right now and Senate has to approve it, but the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act is extremely well developed and written. But politics may stop it because that's what happens in the country.
You bring up actually a really, really good point, that there's been a lot of focus on policing, like it's in a vacuum. But we know that, a lot of things are interconnected. And you bring up, the point that a lot of small municipalities depend on the revenue that they generate from, what have been called sort of poverty crimes, tickets, not wearing a seatbelt, your sticker being outdated. And so as long as you have municipalities depending on that revenue, then you're going to have more, in many cases, African Americans being stopped and more bad outcomes. Is this country ready for that conversation, though? Because this is not just a conversation about policing, though it's important. It's not just a conversation about qualified immunity or proper training. It's about a real shift in how we run things here.
Well, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about America is we're ready for any conversation that the people want to have because the people that run things are elected. They're elected officials. And so the people of this country run things. I know it appears that the people who are on TV or the talking heads make the decisions, but that's just not accurate. It's just when the people decide change is necessary. And they decided change was necessary with George Floyd. Now we just have to continue to decide that change is necessary with how the structure of certain things work with policing. And it's going to be a better situation for everyone involved. But it's coming. You know, the main thing that you just can't lose is faith, and change takes time.
So I want to ask you another question. You know, you can change guidelines, you can change policies, you can change laws. It's really tough to change culture. We know in this case with Derek Chauvin, and I think a lot of people will say that if it wasn't for that videotape, we may not have been here. We may not have gotten this far at all. Because initially, the Minneapolis Police Department blamed this incident on sort of a health-related, like a medical emergency. How do you change culture, I think, or can you? Can policy also change culture?
Well, yeah, a lot of police officers are not going to want to go to jail for the rest of their life, potentially, having seen this. I know I wouldn't, and that would probably make me straighten up if I used to do certain things or used to use excessive force or think I could get away with stuff. I probably wouldn't want to risk my family's future, my future, just to beat up on some black person now that they see that this officer's going to jail. Because people forget. Michael Slager went to jail for 20 years. I've had cases where an officer went to jail for life. It's just not worth it. You know, go get another profession if you can't live up to the standards of wearing that badge. And, you know, it's a situation where we saw something beautiful. We saw good officers speaking up against a bad officer, which is something that should happen. You know, you police your own profession. Because you don't want to have to walk down the street and people are looking at you or, you know, have a bad view of policing. You know, you can police your own profession, and then that'll lead to a lot of changes.
Let me ask you about the next steps in this case and how George Floyd's family is feeling. In about 8 weeks or so, Derek Chauvin's going to be sentenced. There is talk of appeals. There are other officers who are also going to be face trial. What is George Floyd's family saying to you? What sort of sentence would they like to see? What are they hoping for the other officers involved in this incident?
I'll be honest, right now we're living in the moment of the joy of ending the Derek Chauvin trial. You know, as I told him, tomorrow is tomorrow. We'll take that on then. You know, we're not going to comment on the length of time the judge should give right now, because as you can see from this trial, the judge is very keenly aware of comments that are made regarding the trials or potential trials. So I'll leave that for the judge to end up deciding. But right now, we need to truly bask in what was a beautiful day for the entire world, not just for the Floyd family, in seeing justice actually take part, which is rare.
Yeah, you know, that is a great point. I am sure that his family is taking time to breathe after probably metaphorically holding their breath for a year. And then after that, the conversation continues. Chris Stewart, thank you so much.
Anytime.